One day, a king was taking a stroll in his royal palace. He soon reached an old part of the palace. There he saw that the plaster had peeled off from one section of the wall. He immediately called his servant.
That wall looks like a blot on the beauty of my palace. Get it repaired immediately.
The king ordered. The servant, whose name was Anthony, said,
"Yes,"
and went away. The next day, the king again went that way to have a look. He wanted to see how the wall looked after being repaired. He was very offended when he saw the wall in the same state. He immediately called Anthony.
What is this?
He thundered.
Why have you not repaired the wall as yet?
"I did not get enough time, Your Majesty."
Anthony stammered.
Didn't get enough time.
The king said angrily.
I will teach you a lesson for disobeying me. Go and get 2 bowls of lime.
On the way, Anthony met the wise minister. The minister immediately felt that something was wrong.
"Anthony, why are you so worried?"
Asked the minister. Anthony sobbed and told him the entire story.
"Oh, don't worry. The king would ask you to eat lime as a punishment. I will give you something in the bowl. When the king asks you to eat, eat from the bowl,"
advised the minister. The minister, after advising Anthony, decided to take matters into his own hands. The minister, after speaking with Anthony, hurried back to his small house. He knew the king could be harsh, and he wanted to protect Anthony. As he stepped into his home, the warm smell of freshly baked bread filled the air. But he had no time to relax. He called out to his wife.
"Can you bring me a bowl of white butter? I need it right away."
His wife looked at him curiously but didn't ask any questions. She quickly filled a small, shiny bowl with smooth, creamy butter and handed it to him.
"Thank you,"
the minister said.
"Now, I need another bowl, but this time with lime paste."
His wife, slightly puzzled, nodded and went to get the lime. She carefully filled another bowl, making sure it was full. She handed it to him and asked, "What are you planning?" The minister smiled and said,
"This is to help Anthony. The king won't know the difference."
He checked the bowls, making sure the butter looked just like lime paste. He said,
"I need to go back to the palace now. Thank you,"
and rushed out. As Anthony nervously awaited the king's order, the minister hurriedly approached him with 2 bowls.
"Anthony,"
The minister said,
Take these. This bowl contains butter. Eat from this one when the king orders you to eat lime.
Anthony looked at the bowls with confusion.
And the other one?
It's filled with lime.
The minister replied.
Just eat from the butter bowl.
Anthony nodded.
Thank you.
Good luck.
The minister replied. When the king asked Anthony to eat the lime, Anthony started eating from the bowl in which the butter that the minister had kept. Soon the king took pity on him and said,
That's enough. Poor Anthony,
thought the king.
he would be sick for some days because of eating so much lime.
But the next day, the king saw Anthony working as usual. He was very surprised.
It seems that my punishment did not have any effect.
The king thought, and again called Anthony. He again asked him to bring 2 bowls of lime. As Anthony was going, he again met the minister and told him everything. The minister understood that this time the king would want him to eat both the bowls of lime. So he instructed Anthony to take the butter into both the bowls. Anthony did as instructed. The king this time asked Anthony to eat the lime from both the bowls. He started watching carefully to see if Anthony shows any sign of illness. But Anthony merrily went on eating lime. The king became suspicious.
Show me the bowls,
he asked Anthony. He inspected the bowls carefully. When he tasted the lime, he found that actually it was white butter.
Who gave you this idea?
The king asked Anthony.
If you tell me the truth, I will let you go.
Anthony said with fright.
Your Majesty. It was the idea of the minister.
The king laughed and let him go. Moral: clever solutions can outweigh even the toughest challenges.